Hello and welcome back to the Bad Movie Reviews channel, hosted by none other than your fastest and most furious film reviewers and critics. Possibly one of my worst, but that's all right.
I was waiting for a family reference.
Goes on par with the film. We will be reviewing Fast X, which, for anyone who doesn't know, I'd be worried if you didn't, it is the 10th installment of the Fast and the Furious franchise. In terms of plot, it's extremely original, something that Dom Toretto's done in the past, catches up with him. Extremely original story that hasn't been touched on really in the Fast and Furious franchise before. But yes, it is the 10th installment. It is directed by Louis Leterrier. So it's not Justin Ling anymore. He's departed, but Louis has directed great films along with the first Incredible Hulk, Clash of the Titans, Now You See Me, which was okay. But,
Transporter was pretty good. I enjoyed Transporter.
Transporter was decent. Yeah. But what did you overall like? I mean, for anyone, like, you already know what you're getting yourself into when you're seeing a Fast and the Furious movie, but it is the 10th installment, which has been confirmed to be the last half. Who knows if there's three, because I know Vin Diesel kind of hinted at a premiere that there might be a trilogy to end the film, in the film series, but what did you think of the film? Obviously, we're getting to the 10th, so...
Look, I don't know where to start, but I have to say, I do have to give a special shout out to Vin Diesel himself. The man has been so successful with some of the worst acting I've ever seen in my entire life. The personality of a sausage roll, maybe not even that much in depth. But man, I'll tell you what, he's got some good success. He's made some good money out of it. So, good on him. Shout out. You gotta appreciate when you suck and you can still make movies, Anyway, look, the film was very, very subpar, I think. It actually was, in some aspects, probably worse than I was expecting. And I wasn't expecting much. I knew what I was going to get myself into. There's just some weird acting moments that seemed like they were shot once and the director was like, yeah, cool, no, that's good, one take, done. Some of the angles were weird. There was weird motion, weird like choices of like score and audio throughout scenes, and it kind of like jumped between two scores at the same time while trying to...
Yeah, two musical compositions. Yeah. That felt very jarring.
It was so weird. It was a weird structure. And I know I commented on this after we watched... we got to the end of the film, but I was like, you made some of the faces that you did in Transformers, which is one of the most loved...
The Last
recent
Night,
one.
for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, one of the most loved films. It's probably the only one where him and I considered walking out of a film. This probably wasn't at that level, but look, it wasn't good. Acting, if I just put them all under a blanket, which just for the sake of it, under a blanket, sucked. A bit average, but I don't think they were ever great actors. I think the film was more the enjoyable part than the acting experience itself. Or maybe
there are very good actors in this film, but the main
that's why I said blanket wise, average. But there was a few. I always say her name wrong.
Nathalie Emmanuel.
Yeah, fantastic. I always love her, and I'll tell you
from
what,
Game of Thrones. Yeah,
really refreshing. John Cena in this film. He's absolutely delicious. He was one of the highlights next to Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa playing a psychopath and purposely trying to be a dumb version of a psychopath, because that's the character that he plays. I actually thought he delivered well on. That one I will give him props for. I think he played the character he was supposed to quite well. I will give him props for that. Everything else kind of along the board was very like, like there was nothing... No real standout for me other than, I guess, those two mentions. I don't even know if she acted well, but she has a great voice. So I think that's really engaging for me. But definitely John Cena and Momoa carry this film on their back, I thought. Look, story was a bit... You're right, it was very original. I definitely wasn't expecting much.
His past to come haunt him.
Or just...
I was being
stuff
sarcastic.
that was, super realistic. You can definitely put yourself in those plausible scenarios and it's 100% going to happen. Look, this movie is the peak of realism, and it's...
Funnily enough, I actually think it's probably the most realistic of the last probably 4 movies.
Oh.
When you really think about it, you've got a film where they go into space with a car. The other film, they were driving on ice with a subatomic
I have to say, I really enjoy
submarine.
Yeah, you're right. But I really enjoyed Hobbs was it number 7, and he was in like a cast with a broken arm, and he just snaps it off because he needs to go help everyone. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Why not? Sure. Yeah, look, it was okay. I don't know where to go with this film. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah, I guess I'll go. The thing with this film is no one's really expecting realism, but like, I mean, they know what they expect. I don't think this is an awful movie by any means because it's doing exactly what it's meant to do. It's meant to be entertaining, which I guess it is.
Yeah.
But it's not really good at all, in my opinion. Like, it's probably
it's a weird.
It's a weird one. Like, the film's kind of like a glorified movie, a glorified music video. Really, like they've got obnoxious music playing the whole time with like fast pans. It's really weirdly edited, like it's severely over edited. But the direction's just not good. Like Justin Lin was actually a good director, and he brought the action scenes to life with his direction in the past. Like 7, 8, and 9 were all over the top and obnoxious and stupid, but like they were still enjoyable. This one was enjoyable, but also bad.
Definitely bad.
There were some like good factors of the film, which I do tend to agree with. I thought John Cena was great. The addition of Brie Larson, I thought she was also quite good.
I completely forgot. Brie Larson was good. Yeah,
she was also quite good.
And I like this chick.
Charlize Theron's obviously a fantastic actress. She's kind of sidelined. As I said, you've got like fucking Helen Mirren in the film, who's one of the greatest actresses. Like,
Doesn't get too much of an appearance in this.
No, about 45 seconds. But Jason Momoa is by far the best bit about the film. He is funny, as you said, like a psychopath. He's just playing the role perfectly, and you can tell he had a fun time doing it.
It looks like it'd be fun.
It looks like he had the funnest time. I don't know whether like you obviously watch Aquaman and all the shit going on with DC, whether he has a bad time making those films. I don't know, but you can just tell he had a good time. And I also thought the inclusion of Alan Ritchson, who I really like, who, for anyone who doesn't know, plays Jack Reacher in the Amazon Prime TV show. He's also in Blue Mountain State, which is a TV show I love, which I guess kind of has a bit of a cult following, which garnered it on Netflix. But he was also really good in the film. So I thought all the new additions were really good, but like there's nothing new amongst Roman, Ludacris, like Tej, Mia, Letty. The film is also a bit weird. Like, it's very anticlimactic. I understand it's obviously a part of a 2-part ending, potentially 3-part, whether that's been confirmed or not. I don't know if Vin Diesel hinted at it, but it kind of just ends. Everything's leading up to a moment, and then, like, it really does just end.
I bloody called it.
Well, the thing is, like, when you think of 2-part films and you think of, like, Deathly Hallows Part 1, even Hunger Games and all these 2-part endings, they kind of... They do kind of have an ending in a way.
They do, yeah.
And then the next film usually just kind of starts almost instantaneously, whereas this film just did not really have an ending.
Ended instantaneously.
Yeah, it just ended instantaneously, kind of halfway through.
Yep.
Like, not to spoil it, it just kind of ended, really.
Yeah.
So it just kind of felt very weird. And what really fucking baffles me is the fact that this movie costed $340 million to make. Whether 90% of that is tied to actor payments, would make more sense. But the fact
I can understand, like the first 40 minutes of Rocket League was really enjoyable throughout the film, and that would have been an expensive scene.
That was Hot Wheels. That was Hot Wheels.
Once you've seen the film, you'll know. Once you've seen the film, you know what joke I'm trying to make there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Whether it be scouting location, like whether it be filming in location, it just what you expect with the film. It's fun. It's probably the most action-packed, fast film that I can think of. But that doesn't mean it's good. It's kind of lost that heart in the previous films where it really kind of was all about the family. As corny as it is, it's all about the family and the people in the film. Whereas this film's very much just went, we're going to separate everyone and just make it an action-packed.
Yeah.
And there were throwbacks to like some of the classic films, which I really liked in the film. But like, I mean, if you like the movies, you're probably going to enjoy it. I think it's definitely enjoyable. As I said, it's just not a good movie. By any means. The action as well, like I don't know whether it's just after seeing some, like this year's been, in my opinion, really good for cinema when you've got
100%.
John Wick 4, which had great action. You had Dungeons and Dragons, which had good action, but also the action scenes were really inventive with the way the camera worked and the comedy in there. And this film just kind of felt extremely like unoriginal in the directing the directing department, and then also just the storytelling. It fell really flat for me. I'm sure there's fun to be had with the film if you enjoy the film, like the film series. There's definitely fun to have, but I can't necessarily recommend this to anyone.
You know, one thing I
other
did
than
notice
fans.
that you hadn't pointed out, and I completely forgot about until I brought up Rocket League, was they in certain scenes they CGI'd other humans, and
Oh
it
yeah, no, the
bugged me
visual effects.
so bad that they just CGI'd humans. Why didn't you just put them into the scene?
The visual effects are really
humans are
bad.
there.
I don't know whether they were making some of this through COVID. Who knows? Because I know it was supposed to come out a while ago, but I think
Through COVID or on Kogan or something like that, because it was pretty half-assed.
on that note, no,
Sorry, I got nothing.
yeah. Look, I can't necessarily recommend it. If you do like the Fast franchise, you'll probably have a lot of fun. But for me, this felt really flat, and I honestly think it's probably one of my least favorite of them all.
Yeah,
As bad as
it's
it's
the
like,
same.
it's got the best redeeming factor. It's probably got one of my favorite part of any of the Fast movies in Jason Momoa's character.
Yeah,
and his
really.
acting.
Yeah.
That I genuinely
And
stand out.
John Cena.
Well, yeah, he was in the obviously previous, but yeah, look, I can't recommend it, but
Do we have much time left? I guess to go off that is we've obviously criticised the film a bit here because we enjoy films and it was very, very subpar. But what do you think this film has to do to then be enjoyable for the final one? Assuming they probably already filmed it all at the
I think
same
they
time.
all filmed at the same time.
So,
Yeah.
like, it's really going to come down to the editing or some reshoot of scenes if they wanted to make some changes. But
I don't think the editing or directing is something that makes a good film. Like that's something that
it can make an effect.
it can
on the
make
film.
it can make
Yeah.
the film better in a way, but it really comes down to the story.
I agree.
And I thought this story just felt incredibly flat, and it made you like, as soon as the film's got a bad story, it makes you not care about the characters, even though you've had predecessor films. The thing with this film, which made it so subpar and shit, in my opinion, in terms of the writing, you look at a film trilogy or a film series that we just recently reviewed, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is one of my favorite Marvel films possibly ever.
Yep.
You have serious character development in the first one, in the second one, and the third one. And when you look at it as an overall trilogy, right, it makes the whole trilogy better because you've had this connection from start to end. This film, along the Fast franchise, you kind of had that, but this film kind of it just feels like it's just events happening and these characters
agree.
just happen to be there. Like there's no connection to the previous films apart from the fact that the villain was present in something that happened in a previous film.
Yeah.
So it's just like, that's the kind of thing that really makes or breaks, especially as a film like this. As I said, it kind of really diverted itself from the whole family aspect, and what made these films enjoyable were the characters.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
And like, I like Roman as a character. I think he's great comic relief in these movies, in the other ones, but they're severely underutilized in this film. Like, I think apart from obviously Vin Diesel's character, you really only have these characters in it. It's a 2.5 hour long film. You probably only have those characters in it for a good 15 minutes. And I don't want to say that as like spoilers, because I mean, it's probably like normal, to be honest. Like Vin Diesel is obviously the star of the film. I don't know the screen time per character, but I just felt like they were severely underutilized and the story was just very dull.
It definitely needs to go back to its like grassroots foundation and you know, focus on some of that story, focus on their family, go back to some of that character development, and then you might be able to make something out of it. But I think we might be a bit too late.
The thing is, we probably are too late to the party because
Definitely
the
too
way
late
this
to the
film
party.
ended, and if you have seen it, you'll know the way this film ended is almost definitely like they have filmed both or the three films, if it is, at the one time.
Yeah.
It would make sense the way it's ended. So who knows whether they do reshoots or not?
It just
It's
felt
hard
like
to tell.
if it was a book, they were reading the book, they got to the last chapter, ripped the pages out, threw it out the window, and then we'll go, okay, cool, we're going to make a sequel now.
It's basically as if the book ended with like to be continued halfway through a scene, like halfway, like they just stop and it's like, oh yeah, this is to be continued. But No.
Anyway.
We've probably shat on the film a bit, but I don't think it's very good.
Yeah.
Definitely some fun to be had. Go see it. By all means, do go see it for Jason Momoa, because I don't think we see him having this much fun in anything at all. So go see it for him. If you have seen it below, let us know in the comments below what you do think. If you think we're wrong, which I'm sure you avid Fast fans out there might agree with, agree that we are. But let us know what you think, and subscribe for our next reviews. We'll be back next week for The Little Mermaid and Renfield. So a couple of big films. But other than that, we'll catch you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.